Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into the one single ingredient that every great story, every amazing company, and honestly, every successful career absolutely depends on. And that's unexpected, world-altering change. Let's get into it.
So let's start with this core tension that, we all feel, especially if you're in the startup world. It's this paradox, right? On one hand, change feels like a threat. But on the other, it's that little crack in the universe where the future gets in. It's hope and danger, all wrapped up in one.
And how you answer this question? Well, it pretty much defines the story you're living right now. If you're a founder, a manager, anyone trying to build something from scratch, your answer is everything. It dictates whether you freeze up or you pivot and grow. It is the entire game.
Okay, so to really get why this is so critical, we've got to look inside our own heads for a second. There's this fundamental conflict that's literally hardwired into our brains, and it explains pretty much everything about how we deal with change.
After millions of years of evolution, our brain has developed one primary job above all others: control the environment. It's constantly building a model of the world. You can almost think of it as a controlled hallucination, just to help us survive, reproduce, and get what we want.
So what that means is your brain is basically a change-detecting machine. And that explains that gut punch of anxiety you feel when a competitor suddenly launches a new feature or a funding round completely falls through. Your brain isn't being dramatic. It is screaming, threat, threat, loss of control. It is a pure, raw survival instinct.
But here is the beautiful paradox. That exact moment of threatening change, the one your brain is wired to fear, is the single most important element of any story ever told. Seriously.
Think about it. From ancient epics to modern classics, every single story that has ever grabbed our attention starts right here. It starts with some unexpected, world-altering event. No change, no story, period.
And this brings us to a really crucial idea, the ignition point. This isn't just any old change. This is a change that shatters a character's, or a founder's, core beliefs about how the world works. It's that moment you realize your beautiful initial business plan is completely broken, and it forces you out of your comfort zone and into action.
So, if change is the spark, what's the engine? What's the thing that actually drives the story forward? Well, it's not just a sequence of events. It's something way more powerful than that.
This slide just nails the distinction. A list of events is, well, it's boring. We did this, and then we did this. Nobody cares. But a story is a chain of causation. This happened. Because of that, we did this. This isn't just for novelists. This is exactly how you should be talking about your startup's journey.
And it makes total sense when you think about our biology, right? Our brains are literally hardwired for cause and effect. It's the natural language of the mind. So when you tell your story to your team, to your investors, to your customers, framing it as a series of causes and effects, that's what makes it click. That's what makes it memorable.
Which brings us to the human part of all of this. The part at the heart of every business and every story. You and your flawed model of the world.
Look, we all do it. Your business plan, your assumptions about the market, that 5-year strategy you sweated over, that's your brain's model of how things are supposed to work. The only problem is, these models are always, in some way, flawed.
So, here's the bottom line. The entire plot of a story and of a startup's journey is this exact process. You've got a plan. Then reality hits, your plan shatters, and you're forced to face the fact that your view of the world was wrong. The story is what you do next.
Okay, so let's bring this all the way back to you, sitting there in your startup, facing all that uncertainty, maybe even a little bit of chaos.
All that change you're dealing with, that feature that flopped, the co-founder who left, the competitor you never saw coming, that stuff isn't a distraction from your mission. It's not a bug. It's the feature. That moment of change, that crisis, that is your ignition point. That's your call to adventure. That is the exact moment your real story actually begins. Everything that happened before that, that was just the prologue.
And this is the question that every great story and every meaningful life really asks us. The unexpected isn't the end of your plan. It's the beginning of your story. The only real question left is, how are you going to write the next chapter?